And it's particularly true here in central and southern Illinois, that it is often the case politicians show up and ask for votes once every 2 or 4 years, and then they go to Springfield and nothing gets done. Or worse, they ask for your votes and then they go to Springfield and they work against you. I'm here asking for your votes because I will stand up for you, because my whole life, have tried to stand up for working families, have stood alongside of you to elect candidates that were good for you, for labor, for working families. I have fought to get 230,000 kids across the state of Illinois in low-income school districts school breakfast every single day. These are kids who don't get breakfast often. I have fought to get thousands of kids preschool and childcare, to make sure that if you want to have a job and you've got a young child, that there's someplace you can go with your child, to make sure that they're getting the right kind of education early in life. Because you know, if they get that education, they're vastly more likely to graduate from high school and be successful in their lives. It's important for us to invest in that. I've worked hard to create jobs, not just in my own business, but in a small business nonprofit incubator that I created, that now has created more than 7,000 jobs. And we're going to do that all over the state. We've got to create jobs in the state, and that's one of the reasons that I'm here on this visit. And it's not my first time here. Some of you have seen me before. In fact, this is my 3rd visit to Bloomington, and it's been important to me, once again, to listen to people, to try to understand how it is that I can be of service to you. But I'm traveling the state this week to not only meet more of you and listen, but also to tell you a little bit about what we're going to do for the state. For sure, we have to solve the problems that Bruce Rauner has brought to our state with 736 days of no budget and all of the damage that's been done from that. And then another crisis created by the Senate Bill 1 where he wouldn't sign it. He wouldn't sign Senate Bill 1. That's 2 crises. And you know, crisis after crisis, that's what this governor's been about. And when you've got all these crises, you can't invest in the future of the state. In fact, there's so much instability in the state, jobs don't get created in an unstable environment. So first we got to bring stability, but then we have to have a vision for where we're going in the state. What are we going to do to make this state a better place to live for working families, for people in the middle class and people striving to get to the middle class? And how are we going to rebuild the safety net in the state? Those are all things that we as Democrats need to stand up for. We need to make sure we're focused on job creation, on education, and on healthcare. Fighting. And that's what this campaign is about. And I've put forward plans in each of those areas to expand healthcare, to expand opportunities in education, like vocational training coming back to our high schools. Every kid ought to graduate from high school being able to get a job if they choose not to go to college. And every kid that wants to go to college ought to be able to go to college and not get saddled with debt the rest of their lives. That's our job in education. That's my job as your next governor. Now, jobs. On this trip, I want to tell you about what we're going to do to create jobs. We put a plan out. Hopefully some of you have seen it. If you haven't yet, you will. We've got handouts. But it's a 5-point plan. And it starts with infrastructure. It starts with us having a capital bill in this state that focuses on rebuilding our roads and our bridges, not just for everybody that's trying to get to work every day, but also farm to market roads, making sure that all the industry that exists in Illinois and all the ones that want to come here know that we've got the right kind of infrastructure for them. That means locks and dams. It means all the things that help us create jobs, we've got to focus on and invest in. So we need a capital bill that's going to help us do that. And yes, Bruce Rauner's made it harder because he's driven us very nearly to junk credit status. You know, the frightening thing I always say about this state is we're 50th in the nation, not just in state funding for education, which is a frightening thing to say, 50th in the nation. And whenever I've heard 50th in the nation, I always think they're talking about Mississippi. But no, they're talking about Illinois now. 50th in the nation in education funding for the state, and now 50th in the nation in credit rating in the states, 50th. But we can improve that, bring back stability in this state, invest in the things that really matter so we can create a future that we all want. And jobs get created when we invest in infrastructure. not just as we build the infrastructure, but because it attracts businesses that want to do business and create jobs in the state, and it helps businesses that are already here expand. So we're going to focus on infrastructure. We're going to focus also on small business creation. It's something that I've been doing for decades now, helping people start and build small businesses. This is a very important thing to do because 2/3 of the jobs in this state are created by startup and small businesses. So if you want to create jobs in the state, let's help small business people. That helps an awful lot. So we're going to invest in expanding incubators so people can build small businesses from scratch, and then capital availability, which is the biggest obstacle for small business people when people want to start a business. Capital availability, technical assistance, mentorship. The state should stand on the side of small business people. Next, we're going to invest in higher education in our community colleges. So along with vocational training in high schools, we're going to have community college and universities that we want to have for our people, for our kids, and also for adults who are trying to add to their skills. While you've got a job, you know, it used to be when our parents graduated from high school, they could get a job and they could hold that job when they had a high school or a college diploma. They could hold that job their whole lives, or they could stay doing that same thing for, you know, a couple of different employers their whole lives. Today, with all the onslaught of technology and the way things are changing, jobs are changing every day, changing just a little bit. And we need to make sure that our workforce in the state is also changing and adapting and keeping up. And that's why our community colleges are so important to invest in, and I'll do that. You know that there are two industries in this state that seem to have been forgotten by our leaders, and that's agriculture and manufacturing. And those are the last 2 points of my jobs plan that I'm putting out today. You know, farm to market roads and all the infrastructure that's necessary in agriculture is extraordinarily important, but it's also the education. 30,000 people are getting agriculture education in this state. Enormously important if we want to grow the agriculture sector, which is one of our largest in the state. One of our largest industries. 30,000 kids getting agriculture education. You know who wants to zero that out? Bruce Rauner. He wants to zero out ag education. I'm going to fight hard to preserve it, and when I'm governor, we're going to make sure we enhance it. And finally, manufacturing. Look, we all know that we want to have businesses here grow and create jobs. We also need to attract businesses from outside of Illinois to come here, new factories, new manufacturing opportunities. You can't do it if you have a governor who badmouths the state. And that's what this governor does every day. And imagine you're a business that's outside Illinois and you're thinking about coming here. Why do they think about coming here, by the way? Because we've got the best educated, dedicated workforce in the United States. We do. They want to be But when you got a governor who badmouths the state when they're thinking about our state versus another state, why would you come here? When the leader of the state says, don't come. We need somebody who's going to market this state, who's going to help us bring in manufacturing companies to the state and new facilities, and I'll be your best chief marketing officer. I will. I'm going to go promote you and all of our labor unions and all of the high-skilled, high-quality labor that we have here in the state of Illinois, and bring companies here. Invite them in. Welcome. Now, I want to be clear that I can't win this election alone. And in fact, I recognize that it's important for me to have great people around me, to solicit the opinions and advice of John Penn, to seek all of your support. But I've been so lucky to bring on board and to have as my partner in this endeavor to win this election, my friend and somebody who has been a leader not only in Springfield but on issues that really matter to all of us, and that's the next Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton. Let me me also introduce, by the way, my partner in life, somebody who has put up with me for now, gosh, we're coming on 30 years pretty soon, 24 of them married. And she really, honestly, obviously an incredibly tolerant woman, but she's also just terrific. She's been traveling not only with me on the campaign trail, but also separately and meeting everybody all across the state. I'm so proud to introduce you to my wife, M.K. Pritzker. She's my secret weapon. Last thing I want to tell you is we need to win in 2018.
Yes, sir.
If Bruce Rauner wins another 4 years, there may not be any labor unions in this state. If you saw the map that John Penn showed you, if Bruce Rauner wins, his Koch brothers network, and that's what he belongs to, this right-wing network, his Koch brothers network will have eviscerated unions all across the Midwest. We are an island. We have to protect this state from their onslaught. Now, they look at that map and they see one thing when they see that blue spot in the middle. It's a target. That's what they see. I see an island that we have to protect. And I promise you I'm going to stand up for you in Springfield and for working families. We need to put Springfield back on the side of working families. We need to make sure that our labor unions are strengthened, that prevailing wage agreements are strengthened, that we have collective bargaining rights in this state, because labor unions are the backbone of the middle class. Labor unions have created and for people who don't belong to labor unions, you all are helping them. You are fighting for them. You're making sure that their work days are reasonable. You're making sure that they get time off, that their wages are reasonable. You are fighting for them, and many times I go to groups of people where there are no labor union members in the audience, but I stand up and tell them what you're doing for them so that they understand that the coalition that we have put together on the Democratic side, the coalition that we have put together is built in many ways around our labor unions. Because you guys are doing for working people what ought to be done and what I'll do for you and for all working people across Illinois when I become governor, which is stand up for you. We don't need a governor who's trying to lower wages and lower workplace safety and who thinks that that's the way a governor ought to be. I'm going to wake up every day thinking about how we raise wages in this state, how we create jobs in this state. I'm going to work hard for you, I promise you. Now, we don't just need to win a governor's race in 2018. We do need to win that, and the lieutenant governor's race. We also need to win for Democrats up and down the ticket, for working families. We need to fight for people running at the county level, for state rep and state senate. We need to take back seats that we lost. And ladies and gentlemen, I need your help, because Bruce Rauner is trying to pit communities against each other. He's trying to divide downstate from the collar counties from Chicago. He's trying to make a division because he thinks it will help him get reelected. We shouldn't let him do it. This is one Illinois. We are one state. We need to stand together. And I hope that you'll join the movement here to take back Springfield for working families. I need your help. Are you with me?
Yeah!
Are you ready for a fight? Yeah! Thank you.